Simon from NAPCO, and today we're going to do cabinet refinishing. We have two cabinets here. This one, raw wood, brand new. And we also have this one that's been refinished before. This is a clear coat that they've got applied to this. The wooden raw cabinet, quite easy to prep. Just any kind of splinters, imperfections, usually some 120, 220 grit paper. It's all you need. Just make sure you go over the edges. All the inside marks here. Just make sure everything's removed nice and smooth. Then that should be ready for masking and spraying. The one that's been done before, these are usually older cabinets in the kitchen. They're going to have probably a lot of grease on them. So usually TSP or the poly tub and towel prep will work perfectly on there to remove the excess of grease. And from that step, we're going to go to liquid sander deglosser. This will actually take the gloss off the finish so we are able to actually put a new finish on. It's quite an easy product to use. Just make sure you've got your gloves. And I usually like to pour it into a cup. It makes it a lot easier to work with. Just dip your cloth in there, get it nice and wet. And then with a circular motion, just apply it, get it into all the little corners. And keep flipping the rag. And keep it wet. And this you're going to do on the whole surface plus the inside, anywhere that has a finish on it right now with any kind of gloss. Once this dries, it should dry in about 10-15 minutes or so, and then you're going to be able to refinish it. But before that, we're going to have to mask off the hinges and the hardware. To mask off the hinges on the cabinet, these are internals. There's no external on these. This is 3M blue tape. Any low adhesion tape is what you need to use. And with straight edges, it makes it quite easy, just like normal. You can follow those edges. And with this hinge right here, in the shape it is, you can actually just cover this over completely. And then with a dull object, this is just a popsicle stick, you can actually follow the edges of that hinge and it'll show an outline really quickly. And from there, an X-Acto blade or a very small utility knife, just follow those. And as you can see, that comes out quite well. Now when you close the door, you'll see a little flex. So what we'll do is we'll just cut a couple of little reliefs in there so that hinge will fold back into place. like so. There's 2 more little pieces. To hide the chrome. And a piece where we cut the relief out. And that door can be held in any position, either sprayed just like that, or it can be moved as you spray. Now for external hinges, same blue tape. And you're going to do the same thing with these. Start by slipping the tape into the back of the hinge. We're going to follow these around, tuck them into what we can see. Unfortunately, there's nothing for us to cut there. We've got that covered quite well. Just making sure that it bends and folds. And then we'll go to the interior. And you can see on the interior, it's basically the same. And we're just going to cover that completely. Just following the contours of the lines. Moving to the inside of it. We have a finished area right there that needs to get the new finish on it, and it's just the way this hinge is designed. As you can see, the raw wood that matches the rest. And then we've got just one last piece that we should be able to put right in there. We can just fold that over. Into the interior, making sure we've got all of those areas covered. And that door should be able to flex with the tape. Just add a little bit more to this one. There we go. Doorknobs, door handles, sometimes they're mounted with 2. These are a single mount in here. It's a preference. You can remove them quite easily, or you can mask them quite easily. With these doorknobs, same low adhesion blue tape. It's not going to quite fit in there. It's going to be hard to tuck in there. So we're going to rip it down the middle. And that way we'll tuck it right back in and get it right around the base. And we'll just fold this little extra tab over there. It'll make it easier to unmask that way later. And usually with several pieces. Just cover everything in the back and fold those around like so. And then one across the front just to cap it off. And there it is. Depending on what the customer wants, a lot of the time you'll spray the insides of the boxes, not just the frames. If they do want these left alone, sometimes they do. If you just make cardboard inserts, put a couple finger holes in there, and you can just slide those in real quick, pull them up tight, and where the face shows on the front, there again you can use your low adhesion tape. And cover those over. And also too, to prevent anything from going in the hole, just a couple little pieces over the top of that. And that's done, and that'll be quite easy to remove later on. Okay, your cabinet is now ready for finish. Hinges masked, everything's masked, and what we're going to spray this with today is NAPCO's new Water-Borne coating. This is satin white, but it can also be tinted to any color that you want. It is used right out of the bottle just the way it is. It has its own primer. It has a very, very low VOC level. Also, the smell, very minimal. You should be able to spray this and the smell should be gone within a few hours to a day without any problem at all. It is sprayed with a number 3 needle, and we recommend that you pull out any filters that are in your gun. Usually the PPS system, the one in the lid, you have the one on the bottom of the intake on the tin cups. Just remove those. It'll stop air getting in there and possibly getting small air bubbles in your finish. It's also available in a clear. Now this is for the Flintstone, and this can be sprayed over the Flintstone even when the Flintstone is wet. Okay, let's take these over to the spray booth and we'll put some coating on them. When spraying the cabinets, you can open the doors and always spray your perimeters first, plus the insides of your frames and the insides of the boxes. The doors can be either closed or slightly closed, and then you can spray the exteriors. Usually left to right, and then up and down for a crosshatch pattern. This will give you the best coverage possible. And remember, using the number 3 needle and waiting anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes between coats. Today these are being sprayed with a semi-gloss white. This can also be tinted to any color, even dark tones. And the coating has its own built-in primer that meets or exceeds KCMA specifications. It is formulated not to run, but with any coating, if it's excessively sprayed on, it will sag and it will run. So give yourself plenty of time between coats, usually about 15 or 20 minutes, seeing it is a water base. All 4 coats should be repeated the same way. Spray the interiors first, then all your perimeter edges, spraying the front, usually with a crosshatch pattern. So there it is, 4 coats. Give them a few minutes to get tack dry, and we'll pull off the tape. When unmasking your hinges and door handles, you can use your small utility knife to lift the edges of the tape. It makes it easier to pull off. Also too, if you get any overspray, you can gently scrape it off. And there's your cabinet.